execution will become significant. And so boosting test quality has to have a multi-pronged and long-running approach. Right from the quality of the test cases that you're writing today, to your execution and your planning efficiency, and all the way to our ability to adapt to changes. And that's where a test management tool like AIO tests comes in. It can not only simplify day-to-day tasks for testers, but it can also help in long-term planning of testing and analysis of past releases. Though the tool is very big, today's session will try to touch on some of the more salient points of the tool using a simple use case. We will start off with how test case writing can be simplified using the concepts of data parameterization, test reusability, and AI generation of cases. Post authoring of cases, we will move to the next important daily task of the testers, which is executions, and how AIO helps you maintain your execution data release over release. We will also touch base upon the most important aspect of a release, that of knowing if you have appropriately covered your stories and what is the status of each story. Is it a go or a no go? In short, the traceability of your release. And as I said, testing is not a one time activity. We need to learn and evolve our processes. Being able to learn from our failures and success and being able to customize our processes based on the learnings are an essential part to ensuring quality releases. So the last part is going to cater on how AIO's reports can help in analyzing your executions and the various customization options that can make AIO truly your test management solution. So let's get started. If you have any questions during the session, please put them in the chat. We will also open up for question and answers at the end of the session. That said, I'll hand it over to Nupur to take it from here.
Thank you for that introduction. Without waiting further, let's dive into how AIO test can streamline your release planning process using a simple use case of an e-commerce website. So here we are on the click and cart project in Jira, the base of the product, or you can say the building blocks of the website, were part of the first release, which is under regression. It consisted of user registration and login stories. The next release is currently under development, and testers have been tasked with writing cases for these features. The release is focused on introducing membership options, add to cart, and checkout process. Now let's look at our board. The tester checks the filter story, which is in the done status. In this story view, AIO test provides a handy Jira panel which shows all the cases written for the story. The tester reviews the cases and figures out that the color filter tests are missing. The Jira panel is the way of AIO tests to provide place to start jotting down test scenarios that cover a story without adding details up front. Details can of course be added later. So here, now we are just going to add the title and we will add details later. So let's do this, filter by color, the positive flow, which is the one that we thought was missing. We'll assign a priority, it's critical, and save it. That's it. Let's look at another way of adding cases if you want to add all the details in one go. So we are going to go to the AIO test app. So let's go to the app. This is the landing page of AIO test app, and it is a dedicated space for the QA teams to manage their cases, executions, and their reporting. You can see how neatly the key entities of a testing process are organized in the top bar: cases, set cycles, and reports. Now we want to add a case. So we are going to go to the cases part. The cases also get organized in the folder structure, which is based on the functional areas of the application we are testing. We'll go to the case that we created and add more details. Here you can see that the Jira requirement has been attached to the main story from a traceability perspective. When we go to the steps, we are going to see how easily you can add your steps in different ways, right? So one, let's do this. We want to reuse our steps from another case, right? So I'm going to say price range, maybe the one that I had seen, yeah. And I'll copy all the steps and just find and replace price range with color. We'll just review everything later. Just make sure by selecting a color, so we'll remove this is fine within the specified color. And that's it. So within minutes, we have added steps to this test case. There can be another scenario. In the story, there was another way of filtering by previous orders, which was also missing. So I'm going to copy this case and change the color from this to previous orders. I also know that for the steps of this, a previous login is mandatory so that we can figure out which orders to show. So I'm going to delete all these steps, save them. There are no steps here. And now we're going to reuse an existing case of user login, right? So I'm going to search for login. I have the valid user login. So from a reusability perspective, I'm simply going to link the case that was previously written, the user login, and we can see that the steps get inserted here. And then I want to also copy add the step and then copy steps again, right? So here, again, I'll take the color one this time. Filter by color positive flow, I'll add these steps. And now same thing, instead of color, we'll say previous orders and replace. We can quickly review. Apply filter by selecting the previous orders option. Products shown within the selected previous orders. Yes, and that's it, save and close. So this is another way of writing cases by reusing your steps or reusing your cases, right? So these are the two flows that increase efficiency of writing cases within AIO tests. From an efficiency perspective, there is another way of writing test cases in AIO, which is through data parameterization. AIO test offers the option to create predefined parameters at the project level. So here we have one created for membership type. And then the parameters can be reused across cases to define data sets. So if I come back here, this is the one that we had kept ready. You can see we are using the membership type as a parameter here, which is coming from the predefined parameters. What we want to test is for these type of membership, what should happen from a landing page or information that gets displayed in the app. So that's the case that we want to test. So we have created the membership type at the project level, and discount banner and landing page parameters have been created right here in the test case. And then they have been used in the steps using the angled braces. Right. So this way, the same case can be tested for 3 different data sets. At the time of execution, each of these parameters will be replaced by the values that are here, and you will be able to execute the case. Another option is to generate cases using our AI assistant. AI is everywhere nowadays. So if you want to use AI to generate cases, you can choose an epic, let's say product reviews and ratings. This is coming from Jira, and what we do is we pass the summary of the issue from Jira as well as the description to AI and ask AI to suggest cases back to the user. So again, it's a head start that users can get. They have the option to review the cases that get generated from AI, and if they like it, they'll be able to add it to their test case repository. If they don't like it, they have the option to discard it. So you can see here, we have 9 cases that have been suggested for the product reviews and ratings story. You see the title, the description, the steps that have been suggested. You have the option to add details as well and get a quick start. If you like everything, you can click on create case. At that point, it gets added to your test case repository. Similarly, you can continue reviewing the cases. If you don't like it, you can discard it as well. Okay. So as you can see, AIO test provides multiple ways to add cases for Jira requirements and increases efficiency of the team by providing features like AI assisted creation, reusability of cases and steps, as well as data parameterization. Now let's say all the cases are written and we want to start feature testing of all release 2 requirements. What we need is a cycle. So let's go to the cycles tab. The feature testing cycle has already been created, but there are 0 cases. So we are going to go ahead and add cases in it. We need to filter by Jira requirements. So here I am going to get all my features that are in this particular release. I can see 28 cases. I'm going to add all of them to my cycle for execution. So now we are on the execution tab where we see that there is no actual effort, nobody is working yet, and all the cases are in the not run execution status. To execute a case, we can simply open it up and start to execute the steps of that particular case. You can also start a timer to capture the actual effort of the testing. We can capture our actual results. There is a works as expected. We can mark it as passed. If there is a failure, we can capture the failure as well. And mark this as failed. You can see the status percolates up and the entire case has failed. Once a case has failed, you can also create your bugs from right here. You can click on the defects icon. If it's a reoccurring issue, you can search it in the issues search box and attach it. Or if it's a new one, you can click on this create new issue link and the defects can also be created from right here. What we also do is the steps get added into the description automatically. The summary is also pre-filled. And this is how it will look like. Okay. And then create. The issues or the bugs get created in Jira because Jira continues to be your project management system. So you can see the bug has been created as well as linked with the execution in AIO. You can also upload your attachments right here. You can also put attachments within the actual result, like if you want to take a screenshot and then keep it right here. Give it a name and save. So it gets saved right here. So that way your entire execution process can be captured. You can stop the timer and save the effort as well. So you can see the effort is updated here as well as at the overall cycle level. The case also got assigned to me automatically. This comprehensive view lets users do all their execution relevant work from a single place. Now, let's go to reports because as a manager, if you want to check how your release is progressing from a testing perspective, you would want to see a quick report. I'm going to go to my saved reports and we have created a traceability summary report. Let's say this one. We'll go ahead and see the output first. You can easily create a release-based traceability report that shows coverage of all the requirements in this release as well as their execution progress and defect details. So here you can see there are 4 requirements out of which 3 are covered. You can easily spot the one that is not missing any test cases and how many defects have been found. More details can be found in the table below for each of the requirements that are part of this release, their coverage information, progress from a testing perspective, as well as defects. The input to this report is pretty straightforward. If you click on edit, you can see that we want to specify requirements that are coming from the base release and the cycles in which executions have happened. For the same input, we also have a traceability detailed report which can be created. Let's say we'll go ahead and do the same input, base release that we want. And the cycles, let's say only regression, we want to see what's going on and generate. So this one is more of a end-to-end traceability report, which will be a traditional RTM type of, 4 columns. You can see the requirement, their cases, their execution results, as well as the defects, along with the status and priority of the defects. These reports can also be exported in Excel and PDF. They can be saved, as well as you can create subscriptions on saved reports so that they can be emailed out to the relevant folks. AIO Test also offers gadgets that can be added to Jira dashboards to summarize all the progress in a single page. This is a click and card based release overview dashboard, wherein, let's say, if you want to know what is the current status of testing, that is possible through the execution overview gadget. We also have the defect summary gadget. If you want to see all the defects that have been found in testing, you can see them here along with the current status and priority of those particular defects. Similarly, there is an execution distribution gadget wherein, let's say, you want to see the progress of each of your requirements that are part of the release from a testing perspective. So you can see that in a graphical format. Similarly, if you have distributed your cases between your testers, you can see how each of the testers are doing and what is the progress of testing from that perspective as well. Similarly, the traceability summary report that we had seen is also available as a gadget where summarized information about the release from a coverage and testing progress perspective can be quickly viewed. Finally, let's talk about adaptability of AIO tests for your organization. Each organization is different, and so you would like to make sure that there are certain options where you can customize how AIO works to the way your organization prefers. This option is given through our project settings page, which is accessible through this top bar under project settings. For example, let's say we have permissions, wherein if you want to control who can add or delete cases, you can do that. Also, as a QA manager, you might want to control who gets to add or remove cases from a scope perspective. So you can give the add cases to QA managers, remove cases also to QA managers. The execute permissions can be given to testers as well as managers. So that kind of permission setup can be done in AIO test. Another thing that you can customize AIO test is your custom fields. You can create some execution level fields in advance, like failure reason or browser, so that they can be captured at the time of execution. You can also mark them as mandatory for particular statuses. So like the failure reason is only marked mandatory for failed and blocked statuses. Another layer is the ability to customize your run statuses. Here you can add a new one if needed or edit the ones that come with the system. So failed, but okay, might be something that your organization needs, and this is considered to be a passed and execution completed, say, right? So all these options can be customized along with multitude of other options that you see on the left bar here. Right, so I'll quickly summarize the key takeaway points. Boosting testing quality is an ongoing process, and the following points are critical to its success. Creating well-structured tests with clear steps helps in long-term maintenance. Reusability of cases goes a long way to ensure consistency and efficient test creation. Data driving your cases helps in executing test cases quickly and reduces setup time. Traceability ensures all requirements are covered and helps in identifying gaps in testing. Increased visibility of current testing status enhances communication and collaboration between different teams. And analysis of reports can help with retrospecting about improvement areas. And this is what we have demonstrated today with AIO tests. AIO tests, with its simple and intuitive interface, can be your aid in achieving all of the above. Thank you. And I think we can open it up for questions. Niharika?
So I think there's one question in the chat, which is what is the best way for my team to organize the cases. We are using folders, but is there any other way which can help to search the cases quickly and add them to cycles?
Right. So yes, folders is one way. You can also organize them in sets. You can filter them using Jira requirements, and then add them to your cycles. So folders is if you are doing a functional grouping uh, in your test cases, right? So then when you're adding them to cycles, then yes, folders can be used to do the filtering and adding them into the, like we did, what we did was we did it through Jira requirements. Instead of that, we could have used folders as well.
Yeah, and one of the entities I think Nupur mentioned is we also support something called as sets, in which you can have cross-functional cases getting grouped. So let's assume you're having a smoke test before every release, and you want to pick one case from add to cart, one case from checkout, one case from whatever. Then in that case, we can actually put them as a P0 set. And this from this set, you can simply just right click and say create a cycle, and this set can always be used to create multiple execution cycles, release over release. I mean, and there are other ways as well. You can have custom fields-based filters. We have a whole range of filters by which you can select your cases to add to cycles. So there's another question, which is, will the recording from today's session be made available for rewatching and sharing with our teams?
Yes, we'll be sharing this via email as a follow-up post the webinar. Yeah.
Plus, we'll be sharing some of the contacts that you can, use for any other further questions that you might have or any suggestions for future webinars as well.
Yep. Great. There are no other questions, Niharika. I think we can wrap up.
Sure.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for attending. Have a great day ahead. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.